Yo, what's up, man? Welcome back to the coolest channel on this side of the Mississippi. You know where you at. CeeLo Reacts. And I got a good one for y'all, man. If y'all ever be interested in those coats, man, I got a good one, man, on satanic coats. Man, we got a survivor telling her side of the story. And y'all sit on down with me, man. Get your favorite blunt, your best gas, the best liquor, your favorite snack, and sit on back and relax. We're gonna be in for a wild ride.
To describe this story as horrifying would be an understatement. And if that sounds like a warning, then that's exactly what it's meant to be. It deals with the sexual abuse of children by satanic cults. And not only that, human sacrifices as well. We started investigating these secret satanic cults when a British Member of Parliament linked them with the ritual murder of children. In this day and age, it sounded too far-fetched, as did suggestions that the same thing might be happening in Australia. But then we met Teresa. She's only 15, and for 12 of
Okay, let's
those
see what
years,
Miss
she's
Teresa
been the
got to
victim
say.
of relentless depravity. Teresa's story is both shocking and compelling, yet it's a story she's anxious to tell. But again, we should warn you that parts of this report may be distressing.
Friends of the family and strangers and my family used to rape me. Make me abort the babies I had.
It would be hard to imagine more misery and suffering than what Teresa says she's had to endure.
And us kids would be made to do things with the adults and the animals. And then a sacrifice would happen.
The sacrifice, were these animal sacrifices?
Animals and people.
On what scale?
Man,
do
who
you
was
think this
killing
was
people out there, bitch?
Enormous.
Yeah,
Far beyond what
damn.
we've ever heard of here before.
Teresa's mother, Bridget.
You're talking about mass murder.
Yes, on a scale that this country's never heard of before.
And there gotta be some truth to it. Because look how buck her eyes is.
For the first time,
She looks
Teresa
scared in the
is learning what
motherfucker.
it's like to live with love instead of fear. In this quiet English village, with the help of her mother, she's slowly repairing her broken life. Teresa is now 15, but at the age of 2, she was left in the care of this woman, the grandma she called Nan. And that, she says, is when her torment started.
Oh, yeah.
Who was the leader? Who was the boss of the gang, of the cult?
At home it was my nan.
Your Nan made you have sex with animals.
Yeah. Like goats and donkeys.
The story of Teresa is a story almost too horrible to recount. A case of child abuse that goes well beyond the kind of things we normally associate with the abuse of children. In 27 years of reporting, it has to be one of the most painful stories I have ever had to tell.
How many men or how many people would have sex with you?
What, at one time?
Yes.
About everyone who was there, which must have been about 20. You know, from 10 to 20 people. If it was a big ceremony, it used to be 30.
What would your grandma be doing when these men were forcing themselves on you?
Usually laughing.
Man, that's some crazy shit. Bruh, she just said her grandma was prostituting her out and was laughing at her 15-year-old granddaughter. Now that's some crazy shit. Miss Bridget, you a good one. Cause they wouldn't have no mama to interview. I would have killed my mama. I, mm, mm. Back to the video.
Or smiling. Or having sex with another man. Or other men.
A
Well,
chronicle
her
of
kinky
debauchery and
ass.
depravity so horrific it's hard to believe. You have to ask yourself,
You slutting the
could Teresa
granddaughter
be just
and
making it up?
yourself out.
No. I know what's true and what's not. Now I know what I saw.
Children don't make up elaborate lies that this would have to be if it was a lie, which I know it is not. It isn't.
This couldn't be a terrible dream, a nightmare that you're reliving.
No. It's no dream. It's a nightmare, but it's not one you can wake up from. It's there all the time.
This really happened, you're quite
And
sure?
she looks so uncomfortable.
The police don't think Teresa
my
made up a
God.
story. Some of the cult members are to stand trial. 5 men have been charged with rape. As for Nan, the grandmother, she's 61 and lives
Charged
in
her
this
with
council
10.
flat in South London. She's charged on 7 counts of aiding and abetting rape and 2 counts of performing abortions on Teresa.
Yeah, get her 10 of the first
If you're
ones
finding
and
this
5 of the
hard
second
to
ones.
believe, so did I at first.
Yeah,
But
125
then
years.
there are the medical reports, evidence of sustained sexual abuse.
Old fucker.
And there's this, a statement prepared for 60 Minutes by Teresa's psychiatrist. It says, in my opinion, Teresa's account is not the product of a psychotic illness, nor the figment of a fertile imagination. I believe her to be telling the truth.
I know what's true and what's not.
We also took Teresa's story to this man, therapist Ray Wire. He reads a transcript of our interview and listens to her voice.
It's no dream.
Few people, if any, in Britain have counselled as many victims of satanic abuse or Satanists themselves as Ray Wire has. If there is an expert on satanic cults, it would have to be him. Do you believe Teresa's story?
I believe Teresa's story. It's exactly the same story as I've heard from men who says they've done it.
You've dealt with other cases like hers?
Yes.
21 cases like hers, he says, in the past
20.
2 years alone.
Themes like they were
That's
put in boxes
fucking-
with spiders
man.
and worms, where they were trapped in fear, where there was a high use of excrement and urine, where there was talk of human sacrifice. Both of
Take just one of those rituals, putting children in boxes with spiders and worms. Now, listen to what Teresa told her mother.
And they had a coffin-like box that children were put in with spiders and snakes and the lid shut and left
Damn,
in
why
there.
is my camera doing
I would have
that?
come out deranged. I could not have coped with that mentally at all.
You
I
have
fixed it
evidence
real
to back up stories like Teresa's, that this is
Yes.
really happening?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we have that age of child, 6, 5 and 4, giving information that ties up with Teresa. How do those children know? How do those children able to describe rituals, to talk about ceremonies, to talk about sacrificing animals? How do those children know?
Nightmares, imagining it?
You can't imagine those things at 3 and 4 years old, and you also don't have the evidence of anal sex abuse
Sorry
and
about
oral
that.
sex abuse and all that other abuse that clearly
I'm
those
using my
children
phone.
have
It's
experienced
my
and endured.
webcam.
During these ceremonies, was Satan, the devil, ever referred to?
He was called Lucifer.
But that was a Luciferian cult, right? Satanic cults call
What did
him
they say
Satan.
about the devil, about Lucifer?
That killing the people. made
Them
him
two different
happy.
types of groups. They believe in the devil two different
Sacrifices
ways too.
to please the devil.
Yeah, I didn't know.
According to Teresa, the worst rituals took place at a house somewhere in the country.
It was big, you know, expensive. From the front, it looked like a castle. You know, it had a long drive and big double wooden doors.
Do you think they were rich people then?
Very rich.
Now, where was this big house somewhere in the country? Teresa says she can't take the police there because the Satanists made sure she'd never know how to find it.
Teresa was always drugged, or on a couple of occasions she says she was knocked out. she never fully knew the route.
There was a tramp who was brought in once,
And this
you
is
know,
led
and
by
he
her
was
grandma?
killed. He was cut from his throat
That's
down to his stomach,
crazy.
and they ate him, or bits of him.
They killed a man
Then I can't
at a
even say there's
ceremony
some
Yeah.
white people shit,
in front of you.
because
Yeah,
I
in
heard
front
some
of all
crazy
of
shit with some black
all of
families
us.
too.
Did the tramp,
Mexican.
did this man
Asian.
fight back?
No, I think he was, drunk or something. He seemed really dopey. He was laughing a lot when he was brought in. And he started screaming when they began to cut. But after a while, he died. I'd seen a few killings before then. Although I wasn't used to it, that was the worst one. I really don't know what I thought. I suppose I thought, thank God it's not me.
Let me get this right now. Are you saying that you saw more than one person killed in that house?
Yeah. I've seen loads of babies killed there, just newborn babies, or aborted ones which were only small. 4-year-olds. Any age really.
Did they ever say they might kill you?
They threatened to kill my little girl, who, when I left, was still at the house.
A friend?
Huh?
What little girl?
My little girl, Alex. She's about 4 now.
Damn.
You mean you had a child?
Yeah.
How old were you when you had that child?
11.
Motherhood at the age of 11.
Never taught.
So
But
she's
from
only
what Teresa
15
told her
now?
mother, it wasn't the only pregnancy.
We think about 7 or 8 times. It's hard to say. It was
7
constantly happening
or
from the
8.
time she was capable of being pregnant.
I would kill
What
my
happened to the
mama.
pregnancy, to the babies?
Grandma gone. Grandma
They
Nan
were
about here.
aborted by my nan or by one of the doctors at the
In the
house.
backyard with Spike.
There were doctors there at that house?
Hey,
Yeah, there was
it ain't funny,
2, I
but
think.
this some fucked up shit.
Yeah, and a nurse.
What would happen to the fetuses, the unborn babies?
I used to be taken away most of the time, and one time the baby was taken out of me and then killed in front of me because it was still alive.
And then, what would happen?
Well, after they killed it, they would eat it. But we were also made to eat it.
You were made to eat your own fetus.
Yeah.
Who made you do this?
My nan.
You'd think the one person in the world you could leave a little girl with would be Grandma. Someone to give her love and protect her from harm. Yet, when Teresa was left to
Is this
live
fake?
with her grandmother, they
Like,
might as
did
well
this
have
really
handed
happen?
her to the devil himself.
Grandmothers, I mean, the vision it conjures up for you, a sweet old lady with grey hair, rosy cheeks, holding her arms out to love her grandchildren. And it was exactly the reverse.
But why was Teresa living with Nan in the first place and not with her mother?
Well, when my first marriage broke up, I took the children with me and couldn't cope. So I gave them to their father, who in turn moved to his mother's. And
To
when
Nan's place?
Yeah. And when he left the Nan's place,
Miss Bridget,
he left the children
it ain't
there.
even your
How
mama.
do you feel now towards her grandma?
It's your
and the other
ex
people
mama.
who did all those things to your daughter?
Why is this lady still
I-
breathing?
They disgust me. They are the worst form of life
You
this
can't-
earth has had the
You can't
misfortune
forgive
to
a person
create.
like that. You can't expect that to be rehabilitated.
Vile.
Did you ever try to run away? You must have been frightened.
A couple of times I did.
Man, if we ever have to go back to the time of public execution, that's a justifiable reason. This grandma on some crazy ass shit. Like, that's one treacherous ass white lady. Like, good God. Like, was she even human? Fucking sweet old lady. Fucking devil.
But my uncle, he caught me and brought me back.
Going to the police. Did that occur to you?
No. No. I thought it was normal, you know, even though I didn't like it. You know, I mean, you don't like to eat greens, but you know, somehow you know, I thought it was just her being called to be kind or something like that.
She said to me it was something that everybody did, she thought, you know, like you don't like going to school or the dentist, you don't like going to the black masses.
It was never any different. I didn't have nothing to compare it to.
All part of life, Teresa thought. Even a miscarriage one day at school.
Yeah, I asked the teacher if I could go to the toilet, and she allowed me out. I went into the toilet and the baby was in my knickers. I thought it was dead, but it wasn't. It was still moving.
And yet no one at school knew,
No,
saw anything.
no.
That's a miscarriage.
Or if they did, they didn't say. No, she was treated for a high temperature, you know, fever, nothing more.
What did she do with the baby?
She kept her for a while because she was frightened that they'd use the child as part of the rituals. So she turned the pencil case into a little coffin. Apparently she put roses in to make her smell sweet, put a letter with her, pictures of herself and her brother, a picture of me.
And then I put it down the chute because I didn't want my nan to get it.
As we said earlier, the police have already charged some members of the cult, and we know they're also investigating Teresa's accounts of those ritual killings. If there were as many as she told us, then the Satanists had a problem. How did they get rid of the bodies?
They had a tub, you know, pretty big, I don't know. A very big tub, and they used to put the bodies and bones in there. And it used to go like, you know, fizzy and that. And then there was nothing left. Or there didn't seem to be, but when they cleared it out, there used to be a sludge at the bottom.
Teresa's story, her account, doesn't really surprise you.
It doesn't surprise me in the light of satanic abuse, no.
Do you get frustrated with people who just won't accept that these things do happen?
Yes, because I've worked with murderers in prisons for years. Not that long ago, a boy was found in a forest in southern England without a head. We have no doubts that men can do that. And yet when we start talking about men within Satanism who actually believe in evil and it's the right to express evil, we suddenly have a doubt.
As I was leaving Teresa's place, she handed me this note. It's addressed to the film crew. She says, "Thanks for bothering to help kids like me. I hope it helps." On the other side, there's a poem Teresa made up while she was staying at Nan's place. She calls it Nothing Left.
Nothing left. I would scream, but there is no voice left. I would cry, but there are no tears left. I'd fight, but there is no strength left.
That was just part of our investigation of Satanism in Britain. We're also gathering evidence about the activities of such cults here in Australia.
Hello, I'm Liam Bartlett. Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest from 60
Okay.
Minutes Australia, make sure you subscribe to our
Man, that was some crazy one there, boy. That was a crazy one. Like, the fucking grandma, out of all people, the person your child should be the most safe and secure with. And that I can't believe it. I gotta look more into this story because it just sounds too gory. Like, what kind of shit is that? Like, for real, man, what kind of shit is that? Like, man, that's some crazy shit, man. But look, if you enjoyed the video, man, like the video, comment, subscribe, man, and let the algorithm know I make good content and y'all rocking with me. You know, come back and watch back, man. You know, y'all take it easy. You feel me? Come back and check it out.